Hello, everyone, and welcome to another low-code live build. My name is Jan de Vries, and I'm the Community Engagement Manager here at Mendix. And today we're going to be talking about and showing you how to build a crowdfunding platform. Now, together with me here is my friend and colleague, Ryan Maki. Ryan, welcome to the show.
What's up, Jan? How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. Hope you're doing okay.
Doing well, thanks.
Let's get into it, and let's take a look at what we're going to be talking about today. So, first of all, we're going to be talking about what we're going to do during the live build itself. Then we're going to talk about what we're building specifically. We're also going to take a look at an app demo of the end result so you can see what the end result is after we've built everything. And of course, step 4 is making the app itself. So this is where we go into Studio Pro, into the development, and take a look at the nitty-gritty of the app building process itself. And then at the end, of course, we'll do a quick recap of what we've actually done. And then it's time for the Q&A. So first of all, during the live build, we are recording this right now. And after this session, we will post the recording on video.mendix.com and on youtube.com/Mendix Community. So make sure you subscribe to the community and YouTube channel so you get a notification when the video is up. Of course, you can join us in the chat and engage with us and ask your questions in the Q&A window. So at any time during the live build, during the presentation, you can go into the chat, you can go into the Q&A and submit your questions. And at the end, after the demo and after the build, we'll go through them one by one. Now, you can also join us and download the project files and do the build yourself, either right now or maybe afterwards. Either way, go to that link, download the files so you have them ready when you want to do that. Now, let's take a look at what we're making today. So in the previous live builds, we focused a lot on mobile applications using native mobile, which is, of course, a great feature. And this time, we're going to be focusing on building a responsive web app, specifically one for creators and supporters and people who want to donate to their favorite creators. We'll also be combining out-of-the-box features from the Mendix platform to build this. So we're not using any custom code or any custom build widget from the marketplace. Everything is out of the box, available in the Mendix platform in Studio Pro. Now, Ryan, can you tell us a little bit more about the technical side of the application?
Sure thing, Jan. So today we're making a crowdfunding platform using Mendix Studio Pro. The app itself is built in Studio Pro 8.18.1. And like you said, it's a creative web app. So creators can sign up, complete their profile. They can create galleries of their content and make posts about it. They can also donate to their other favorite users, people they think are worthy of supporting.
Excellent. All right, let's take a look at the app itself and do a little demo.
This is just the login screen. There's just a carousel here where people can sort of scroll through some images. And then there's the sign in. Now, if you don't have an account, you can click this don't have an account to register. They have a little 3-step wizard to create an account and upload all their details. So first off, they choose if they're a maker or a supporter. We're going to choose maker. We can just create a user account. I'm just going to use someone made up. Cool, we can upload a profile picture for them. Just use one of these. And there we go, account created. Second. Oh, I've already used that one. Sorry, let's just call him Peter.
Done a lot of testing on this one.
Yeah,
And of course, Peter Parker takes pictures. So, you know,
exactly. All right, so we can sign in just with Peter's account. Now, instantly, it's going to land you on your feed page or your For You page. If you're not following anyone yet, it just populates with the most recent posts. So you can sort of have something there and it doesn't just look empty. So these are all the users in the platform currently and their posts. You're able to like and love things, and you can click their picture to go to their profile. Now, you also have a creator page or your page. And this is where they can sort of get some information on who you are. So in addition to a first name and last name, we also have a display name, and this is what people will actually see most of the time. So we can call him PD, and people will get that. We can also add a bio. So what does Peter do? He takes pictures of Spider-Man. And we can set a goal. So the goal is what we're working towards. It's what you are trying to reach. So we can set him a goal of anything we want, say 2,000. And we can have some quick donation features here. So whatever I select here is going to become the quick donate feature, quick donates amount when someone is trying to give you money. So I want a lot of money, I'll set it to 9. Then also we have a gallery page and a posting page. Now, Peter doesn't have any, so we can just quickly create a post and we can say, my first WeFund gallery, something like that. You can do an about this. Pictures I took, sorry. It's in the, and then we can upload some images for that. So we can just select whatever here. I'll just do one more. Computer's running a bit slow today. And there we go. So we can see the gallery appears here. The about shows up on the side. And this is also actually a carousel, so people can browse through your images. This also supports swiping on a mobile or tablet version. Finally, we have the posting. So we can create a post similar to a Facebook post. So I don't know what to say. I'll just say new post. Exclamation mark. And type all of a sudden. We can add images directly here, or we can link it to an exhibition piece. So this is the one we uploaded, and there we go. So that's the app in a nutshell. Let's get building.
Yeah, right. So what I'm curious about is if any of you have any experience with crowdfunding platforms. So let me launch a poll that you should now see on your screen with a couple of possible answers. Do you have any experience with crowdfunding platforms? Are you a regular? Like, do you donate? Do you know they exist, but you haven't really started yet? Yeah, love to know what you guys think. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to answer the question.
Got a few people using them.
A few, yeah. So a lot of people know the sites exist, but only a few actually donated, or yeah, some people follow but don't donate. So this is interesting to see. All right, I'll close the poll in 5 seconds. Last chance, and ending. So let's take a look at the results. So have you ever used a crowdfunding platform? Well, 3 people say, yeah, I'm actually supporting my favorite creators through donations. Good on you. Nice work. I'd be really curious to know what kind of creators they are. Are these people who make art? Are they traveling? Do they I don't know, have a YouTube channel or something like that. Be really interested in that. Some people just follow. They like seeing what creators are making, and yeah, a lot of people know that these sites exist but haven't actually checked them out. So maybe this live build can help you in doing that. All right, so over to you, Ryan. Let's start with the first piece of functionality, which would be the sign up and potentially a step up to the homepage or the creators page.
Yeah, so as always, we have prepared the starting points of this app. So we actually have some stuff pretty much built out. So for instance, we have the sign up and all that good to go. If you guys want to steal that, you're welcome to it. So we have a 3-step sign up already built, and we have the homepage pretty much there, missing some key components like pictures and goals and donating. And yeah, there's still some stuff to do on the other tabs as well. So let's start off and finish this homepage. All right. So everything on the left seems to be there, but it looks like we're missing the profile picture section. So let's do that quickly. All right. So to do this, we're just going to open up your toolbox over here on the side and just pin that so it's easy to get to. Now we're going to need an image viewer. So it's down here, image viewer. Just drag that in. And we're going to need a image uploader. Now, as it says, this is for viewing images stored in the database. So we need to select which object is actually displaying there. And the object we're going to show is profile. Now, profile inherits from a image entity, so it should hold that image no problem. Before we close this, we do want to do some things. So we don't want the thumbnail to show, we want the full image. We can also set a width and a height. I'm just going to do a width of, let's say, 200 pixels. I mean, a height of 200 pixels. Finally, we want to style it a bit. This adds some spacing, I think, and we want to make it round. Now, I'm going to use some keyboard shortcuts here, so it's going to go a bit fast. But basically, what I'm doing is I'm pressing Tab to go to the next design property, and I'm pressing the S key to set it to small. So I'm just going to hit S, Tab, S, Tab, S, Tab, S, and now we have some padding all around that image. The other thing I'd like to do is just to make the image round. Not rounded, that just smooths out the corners, but we want the circle. That's going to make it a perfect circle. And then finally, we want it to be in the middle of this container, so it's going to be evenly in the center, and we just click center for that. There we go. Another thing we need to do just quickly is we need to change the maximum file size on this upload image widget. So by default, it's set to 5, but these days, most pictures are somewhere between 20 and 30 megs. So I'll put it at 25 megabytes. And that should be everything we need. All right, that's the profile pictures and the home screen sort of finished off, Jan. What are we doing next?
Yeah, I think that looks great. So we now have a couple of basic elements available on the homepage or the creators page. And what I'd like to do in this live build is sort of build out that functionality. So I want to be able to follow people. I want to be able to set goals, let people donate, create that posts and galleries. So let's start with the following functionality. Can you build a feature where users can follow creators?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just going to take you guys into the domain model here quickly. So you can see that we have a profile follow profile association. Now, this is a self-referencing association, so it means these objects are referring to other objects of the same type. And basically, this means that any two profiles can follow each other. So to start off, we aren't actually doing this on the home web. We're going to be doing it on the creator view. So if you just look in the creator folder here under functionality, there's a page creative view _ web. Now, this page is pretty much a duplicate. It looks quite similar to the home page. Most of the same details there, just slightly different layouts. This one, however, isn't editable, and this is for people to view the creator. So up here, we have a block or area here for getting updates in your feed about what this person's posting. So I think this is a good place for those buttons. So let's add a data view in here. We're just going to add a data view. You can either right click and say add, or you can just drag it in from the top over here, whatever you want. Now we need to populate this with a data source microflow. So again, you can also open this and select microflow and all of that. I just like to drag it in. So we're just going to use ds get user profile. I'm just going to drag that onto there. We don't need to automatically fill, so we can say no. And we just need 2 buttons in here. So I'm just going to look for buttons, and we're going to use the core microflow. So drag that in. Now the microflow we're going to call is called ACT follow creator. If you just type follow in the top here, you'll find it. And then we can also just copy paste that because this one is just going to be calling unfollow. So here's unfollow down below. Now, obviously, we don't just want these labels as is, so this neatens them up a bit. We can change this one to simply follow. I'd like to give it an icon of a plus, and I'd like to style it to be success color, which is green, so people know it's a good thing. Then after that, we can just also touch up this one. So this one is unfollow. We're going to use the remove icon for that X. And we want this, I don't think danger is good, so I'm going to put it as warning, orange, so people know, just be careful, you're going to unfollow them. And I think that's good for the follow buttons. Oh, yeah, I forgot to put on the visibility. So when someone is following them, we want them to see the unfollow button and vice versa. So if you're not following, we want to see the following. Now we can do this with a visibility rule. So I'm just going to open this up. Again, you can get to visibility from the properties here and open it there. You can also get to it from the side menu down here. Same thing. Now we're going to use an expression, and I've got it saved over here just to save some time. So what this is saying is that the data view object, which is the main creator profile outside, needs to have an association follow profile to the current object, which is this little data view over here, which is the logged in user. And if it's not linked to that, we're going to hide this button. So that's what the not is for. Now for the other one, it's exactly the same. We just changed that condition. So if we paste it in, we need equals to and not equals to. So this way, whenever that is set via this microflow, if I go inside, and give it a second, you'll see here we're just setting that association and committing that to the database. On the other side, we're just setting that to empty. So it's basically adding it and removing it. Quite simple stuff. Right, and I think that's good for the following.
Yeah, perfect. So at least now we can have people follow their favorite creators, which is good. Now, I think an important next part is for creators to be able to set goals and to allow people to make donations, because sure, followers is nice, but it's about getting the money and getting the support that you need to continue your work independently. So yeah, let's focus on goals and donating functionality.
All right, so there's always 2 parts to this, right? So the creators are setting goals and the supporters are contributing towards them. So we need to split this out into 2 different pages. So let's allow them to set the goals first. Now, they set this on their homepage, on their profile page. We have a block over here for what is your goal. Now, quite simply, we just need to drag in, oh, let's use the connector instead, not the toolbox. We just need to drag in this goal attribute over here. And quite simply, this is just a decimal field, which allows them to input a goal. So we already have a label up top, so we could just take away that label. We're going to put the decimals down to 0 because people shouldn't be asking for cents really. And we're going to group those digits just so it looks nice. All right, so they can enter that goal. I think let's make it nice for them to visualize it and give them a UI component for that. So for that, we're going to just add a widget, or from the toolbox, we can just go down and we're looking for progress bar. Now, the progress bar is a pretty simple widget. It's easily found in the App Store. There's basically 2 steps to setting it up. Step 1, put it on the page. Step 2, connect the attributes. Now, we have a progress attribute and a maximum value. The maximum value is what they enter on the screen here. It's what they're trying to reach. So we're going to select goal for the maximum value. And for the progress, that's what people are adding to each time. That's their progress towards it. So for that, we have the appropriately named goal progress. And that's really all we need to do. The rest is optional. So appearance, we can change type and bar style. We can add events to it or change the text. We can even do some styling on it. Let's just add some left and right spacing. But other than that, it's all good to go. Right, so now they can set their goals and they can see how far along they are, but people need to be able to donate, right? So for that, we have a section on the creator view page. So when people are viewing these profiles. Now, I already spoke about the donation amount. So you'll notice it's the same over here as it is down here. Same values, same conditional visibility. Basically, if it's set to 3 on the homepage, their quick donation feature will take £3 and 5 and 9 appropriately. Now, we need to sort of finish this off. We need to actually have a donate action, something that takes that money. And we need to have a sort of custom donation. What if people don't want to do these amounts? They want to do whatever they can or even more. They need to be able to add that in custom. So to start here, we're going to add in a data view. And we're going to populate this with a data source again, data source microflow. And that one is called get holder. And this is just a non-persistent holder which stores some values for the donation. We can automatically fill it, that's fine. We're going to be using these. But we do want this to be vertical because that's the orientation of the rest of the page. Cool. So you see the labels just change positions there. Now, there's something missing, I think, from this donation holder. If we go to it, you'll see, yeah, we have a field for the custom donation amount. We need another one for just a yes or no. Is this a custom amount? So by right-clicking, let me zoom in, sorry. By right-clicking here, we can just add an attribute. And we're going to call this just simply custom donation. Spell it right. And this is a Boolean. So the Boolean value is false by default and true when we want those things to show. So we can just leave it as false. That's all good. But when we actually donate, everything's copied from here into here. So it's stored in the database. So we need this field too. So you can just copy that and paste it over here. There we go. Right, so our domain model is quite set up now. And now we can worry about the page again. Okay, so we need to put in that new field. If we select here, we have custom donation. And we're going to need this up here. And we're going to have to hide this conditionally, I think. So let us just add in a visibility rule. And what we're going to add is an attribute-based rule that is for custom donations true. So that should be fine. All right. And we need also a button, right? A button to trigger the payment. So here at the bottom, we can just right-click and add our widgets, which is button. We're going to add a microflow button. And that microflow button is triggering ACT_donate. That one. Now we don't just want it to say that, so let's tidy it up. We'll just take that out and give it an icon. I like the piggy bank for currency. People know what it means. We don't need to do anything on the button style or anything like that, but let's just make it a bit bigger. We can just add some quick padding. So tab S, guys, remember that. It will save you a lot of time. Tab S, tab S. And we want the size of the button to be large and take the full width of it. Now you can do some other stuff like adding a border or aligning the icon to a side, but for now, I think that's fine. Cool. All right, so that's the front end of it all done. Why don't we jump into this microflow and figure out how this actually works? So in here, don't get shocked by these big statements. They're just so you can copy paste it in and don't have to worry about it. Right, so we have some stuff to do. We've got to get the user profile, not this one, the actual user who is donating. We need to update the goals on this profile, the creator's profile, and then we need to create a new donation object, copying that data from this non-persistent holder onto the persistent database object. So to get this user profile, as always, just drag it in. Save you a lot of time. We need to give it a proper name. Let's call it user profile. And then we need to update the goals on the creator's profile. So we're going to add a change activity here. We're going to change an object, which is profile. And we're going to be changing the goal progress. So just look for it there, goal progress. Cool. So at this point, I'm just going to copy this in. We need this if statement. Now, what this is saying, I'll make it bigger for you guys. If custom donation equals true, then we're going to add the custom donation amount to the goal progress. If it's false, then we're going to be using one of the pre-selected values. So we're saying if the preset quick donation amount is 3, then we're going to add 3 to the progress. If it's 5, we're going to add 5 to the progress, and so on. Or else, we shouldn't ever hit this else, but we do need to end that statement. So, or else add 0. Cool. We need to commit this and refresh it, just so it appears on the screen and is safe in the database. Then next up, we need to create this new donation object. So we're just going to insert another activity here. And we're going to create an object of type donation. Now, first off, donation has a few associations, which we need to set. So this is how Mendix knows how to find that data all the time. So the supporter is the guy we went and fetched, the user profile. And the other association we need to set is the receiver. And that's the parameter profile, the creator's one. He's receiving the money. Okay, and then above that, we need to add in the amount of the donation. Now, once again, I've saved it here just to save everyone some time typing things. So if we paste it in, you'll see it's pretty similar to what I did before, except we're not adding to an amount, we're just adding to 0. So instead of the goal progress plus the amount they're donating, it's just the amount that they're donating. All right, and finally, we just need to copy over some of those other fields, such as the message, which we can set to the stuff holder's message, donation message. Click OK. And we also need to take the monthly donation field, which is stuff holder monthly donation. And we have one more for custom donation. Yes. And there we go. So commit this as well and refresh it. So it shows up in the screen, but otherwise it's good to go. Over here, we're just deleting this because it is a non-persistent object. So we don't need to worry about it, but by deleting it and then showing the page again, we get the data source to trigger. So it's going to create a new blank object, which means we don't have to worry about clearing all of that old data, the message and the amount that they're donating. That just disappears and it just reloads the page as new. All right, I think that's everything for donation. I think next up we should give them a gallery to showcase their pieces.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly right. So now that we have the goal functionality and the donation functionality, let's take a look at how creators can show off their work by creating a gallery or just showing off images.
Cool. So you guys saw already that the gallery was partly built, but we're going to finish it off now. Okay, so just clean up your workspace as always, reset your zoom level. Okay, so at the top of the page, we have a gallery tab. Now this is also on the creator view page. It's just set up slightly different. They can't add anything new from that page. Here they can. So up top, we just have a container, a regular container with a create object action set on it. So they can create new stuff and it looks like a cool button, but there's nothing set up down here. We can't see anything. Now, something I really want for this gallery is for the gallery's library, let's say, or the overview, to sort of show across the top of the page. But we can't really do that with a regular list view. So we're going to add some styling to make this list view scroll horizontally instead of vertically. So by doing some simple classes, you can make a big change in user interface. Oh, don't put it in style, we're putting it in class. Let me open up here actually. So all we need is a CSS class. And what that class is lv-col6-md. Now this is a bootstrap class. It's just telling this list view to go in the horizontal direction. Okay, so that's scrolling as we want. We need somewhere for them to see what this gallery is about. And for that, I just have a snippet on the side here. It's called gallery snip. Drag it in. Now, inside here is just a image. It's showing the first image that is added into that gallery, along with the name. And there's some styling classes applied to this block over here. Okay, so that takes care of the overview. We need a specific sort of details view as well. Now, you can do this with the list view and a template grid as well, but you can make a data view, which is what's down here. You can see data view. you can make this listen to what's selected in this list view. So in the gallery data view, we're going to see whatever selected up top here. You can tell it's listening because it gets that blue outline around it when you click the one which is listening. Okay, so here we need sort of a more details one. So we're going to drag in gallery details underscore snip. Okay, so there's definitely something missing here. There's a big empty space where the images should go. Now you can see already there is an about, the gallery name, along with an edit button. This edit button is only visible to the owners of it, so they need to own the gallery in order to edit it. Right, so let's just add those images in here. So we could just do another list view, but I'd like to do something more visually gripping. So we're going to add in a carousel. You can just right click and add a carousel widget. Now this is available in Marketplace. It's pretty simple. It's a few steps to configure and it really adds some nice value to your front end. It also supports swiping features for tablets and mobiles. Right, so we have a few things which we have to set here and the rest is optional. So we need to set the data source, which we're using a microflow for. We need to set the images, and the images we're setting are the exhibition pieces, which are linked to the gallery, and the microflow, which is going to get those images for us, is called get images, get gallery images. Get gallery images, there we go. The rest, as I said, is optional. You can set some behavior on it, some appearance, whatever you want to do, but it's fine like that. And that pretty much sorts out the gallery. So now they can add them and they can view them.
Perfect. Yeah, I think the last part that we want to see as creators is to be able to post a message to the audience, to followers, and to donators, so that they can see that on their updates, so that they can share it with their followers and say, look, this is what I'm doing. Here are my plans. Here's the stuff I've created, and maybe even add like an image to the gallery to it.
Yeah. Okay, so again, we have a tab up here called Posts. Now, this is sort of the opposite of the other one. The view is all set up, so we have an area here to view their post or to view their post image along with their exhibition piece or gallery piece that they're sort of promoting in this post. And just some labels for dates, buttons for liking and loving it. And down below, we have, again, a data view listening to this list view up top. And that's just showing a more detailed view. It's just a bit zoomed in, the images are bigger, but basically the same info, just more spread out. What we don't have on this one is the new function, to the create new objects or new post button. So I'd like it to be on this container here. I'd like it to just also have an image. So we're just going to drag in an image, drag it in. Just do the nice stock image I got, beautiful. Right, so before we carry on, let's just set the height here so it's not massively big. 100 should be fine. Again, we just want the corners rounded and the rest should be fine. Okay, so let's add a create object activity to this. So any container can have a action connected to it. You can get it just by editing the on click there, or you can say properties and you get a nice drop down here. So we're not calling a microflow or just showing a page. We're going to create this object. Now we just need to configure two things. We need to tell it what it's creating and what to show that newly created object in. So the entity we're creating is a post, but it needs to be linked to your profile. So if you expand profile, you can see post down here. And by doing this way, instead of just selecting post from here down at the bottom, we're telling Mendix that this post needs to be linked to that profile when it's created. The next part we need to show or set up, sorry, is the on-click page. So when this object is created, where is it going to show? And for that, we want the post new edit page. Now, the rest of this should be okay. If I go into the page, you can see it's just an image with an image uploader again, an area for them to say something about it, along with a reference selector, reference set selector to set the association to the exhibition piece if they want it, but only if they want it. The save and the post and discard changes are just a save and cancel changes action. So pretty straightforward stuff here. And of course, when they post something, it shows up in the feed so people can like it. Right, I think that's everything for posting, Jan.
Excellent. That's great. Now, I think we've built out most of the functionality. So now all the stuff that we want to see in there is available for followers, donators, and creators. Now, one thing I do want to spend a little bit of time on is seeing if we can make the app look just a little bit better. Now, we're not UX designers, we're not UX experts, but there are some really simple ways in which you can make the app look better by adding some quick styling. So Ryan's already showed that in the properties of some of the windows, you can do some padding, you can make an image round, and you can align it. But if you want to take that to the next level, you can actually go into the project files and add your own styling files. And we even have a custom-made Mendix application that will help you in making those styling changes called Calypso. So Ryan, let's take a look at how you can change the styling. And in fact, we also have a question on this from Tiru Siva. He's asking, what will be the approach to change the styling or the theme to align with a company style? And that's exactly what we're going to be looking at right here.
Yeah, so here you can see the For You page still looks pretty good. We haven't really got to do anything here, but let's check out that main page where we were working. So if you go to your profile, oh, that's not looking so great. Okay, so you can see we're missing some spacing. They need to be spaced out a bit better. And in the first demo, we had a nice drop shadow, so that's gone too. So I think what we need to do here is to create some custom CSS, some quick, easy classes for everyone. So like Jan was saying, if you want to style in Mendix, Calypso is a great tool. This is Mendix's sort of alternative, or not alternative, but gulp solution, shall we call it. Basically, what Calypso is doing is it's looking for any changes in your style sheet. And if there are any changes, it's going to refresh them in the browser pretty much instantly. Sometimes you might need to reload your page or something like that. But you don't have to keep clicking deploy to see your changes. And yeah, it's a pretty good tool. Props all around. Now, once it's set up, you don't really need to do anything else with it. You just need to make sure it's listening, which it already is. Okay, and with that, we can actually start styling. So for the sake of the webinar, I've already added the class names on the elements. So the class names are there. The one we're going to do now first is homepage boxes, but there's no actual CSS class existing called that. So we're going to go create that class now. You can do this in any IDE you want. I'm using Visual Studio Code just because it's what I'm used to. And now we have to do some CSS. So to find the appropriate file, you have to go into your project directory a little bit. In your root directory, you'll find your theme. Inside of theme, you'll find your styles folder. And inside of that, you'll find native and web. We want the web folder. And we're moving away from CSS here at Mendix. We're going into Sass, or actually we're using SCSS, which is Sassy CSS. It's sort of a hybrid of both, regular CSS and Sass. So it's sort of the best of both worlds. So the way this works is quite simple. There is a custom SCSS file, and anything else you want to create or do, you should essentially create a new file for that. So I have a container borders file here. This is the one I've created. We're going to work here. But yeah, there's nothing in here. So to save everyone some time, I have prepared 4 classes. You can find this in the project files. It's in the notepad. So these 4 classes are pretty much everything we need. And you can see we have a class for homepage boxes, which is width 100.
Can you just zoom that in just a little bit?
Of course. Sorry. Zooming on a Mac, always difficult. Okay, I'm zooming in my entire screen apparently, but it's fine. So here we have the homepage boxes, which is width 100 and a box shadow. The gallery and post boxes has the same shadow, but it's not forcing that width to be full. Then we have some classes just for the donators. Monthly donators get a light blue color along with the border radius, and the one-off donators get a darker gray blue instead of that light blue like our logo has. Okay, so it's not really enough. Sorry. You need to see this one. It's not really enough just to add the classes here. You also have to import them. And that's just a single line here. So we're just going to import, open up quotes, and we're going to just type the name we put in earlier, which is container borders. It's the one over here, container borders. We don't need to put the file type, so we can just say container borders. And then just make sure to end that off with a semicolon. So pro tip, make sure your files are always saved. It doesn't refresh until you save them. Now, just once off, we have to run this again just to refresh that page. And let's have another look now. Cool, awesome. So it's looking a lot better now. We have even spaced things. We have a goal. Everything is looking good. Oof, this one down at the bottom, that needs a little bit more work. So let's just trim that up. So if we go back to Studio Pro, we can see, I have a suspicion. Yeah, we're missing the class name. So we can just copy that from over here. And we can paste it there. And what we can also do is put a width 100% here. So it's over here in the wrong place, weird. If we put it on this one, it should force that to be big. Now, inline styles are bad, guys, don't do them. But if it's just a quick fix, you can. The best route is always to create a class and to put it in a style sheet. And there we go. It's looking a little bit better. It's also got the drop shadow. And I think the spacing can still be worked on a bit, but it's not so bad. Right. And that's everything, guys. I think that's the most we can do right now.
Yeah, absolutely. That was pretty good, I think. So let's take a little recap and see what was built. And here we go. So we had the demo. The recap. So we created a creators page with an overview of lots of information about the creator, the goals, the donations, and so on. Then we added the functionality to be able to follow people and, of course, make donations. And we also created portfolio and galleries and the ability for creators to make posts so that followers and creators can see that. Now, if you have any questions for us, make sure you put them in the Q&A window so that we can talk about them and we can answer all your questions. And as I mentioned at the start, one of the inspirations for this really was the use case for Colin Crowdfund. And we have a use case on that on the Mendix website as well. So if you Google for that, like Colin Crowdfund Mendix, you'll find it. And it's quite incredible to see what they've been able to do with a crowdfunding platform and Mendix. And the main reason for them to choose Mendix was that they needed something that was quick, that could be changed and updated very easily. And eventually they built it out into what is now a platform that processes, hundreds of millions of euros, on a regular basis. And this is a very impressive showcase of what's possible with payments and a customer-facing, a front-facing application. Right, on to the Q&A. So I'll stop the share and let's take a look at the questions. Right, we've got a couple of questions coming in. So Henry Schellingerhout is asking, Ryan, you're using often a data sources in a page instead of, for example, creating associated objects in a microflow and show a page with a page parameter. Is it the best practice, or are you just keeping it simple in this live build? And it's actually a similar question to what someone asked in a direct chat to us. For example, when you created the follow unfollow microflows, the question was, can't you just do that in one microflow? And the answer is yes, I think you can.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. So pretty much it's just for speed in these sessions. There's a couple different ways to do it correctly, let's say, the best practice. But yeah, it's not bad practice. It's just the way that I do it quickly, to sort of link that stuff quickly and get through the session. Yeah, pretty much that's it, just speed.
Yep. So here's a good question from Ben de Lange. He's asking, is it possible to implement a feature where creators can have their own custom and personalized styling? So right now we're doing it on project level, or app level, which is everyone. But how would you do it if you would allow creators to input their own coloring and things like that?
Well, the way I would do that really depends. So there's sort of two routes for that. You could either do some sort of color picker and let them pick a color, and then use that specific color in your styling or something like that. But probably what I would do is I would create a couple different classes for a few different colors or something, for instance, so red, green, blue. And then if they choose red, for instance, we can add some logic in our front end using the dynamic classes. So the dynamic classes allow you to set a value or a class name based on some database value or an expression, some math or something like that. But you could basically say, if red is selected, then use the class name red. And that's pretty much the easiest way I would do it.
Perfect. Yeah. So more in a predefined way, as an app builder, you would predefine it for them and they would be able to select it.
Yeah, and you would want colors that are going to work well with your existing color scheme. So I think it's safer to sort of pick a few and give them some options instead of just letting them pick any color.
Hey man, I remember the MySpace times. You could do anything with your profile. You could change the coloring, the borders, you could have GIFs and moving backgrounds. Ah, what a time. Ah, crap, I'm showing my age.
Yeah, I'm too young for that, man.
So Dominic Waters is saying, I really enjoyed that you showed the keyboard shortcuts. What are some of your favorite shortcuts?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, so tab is going to be your go-to. My tab key is basically worn away. That's a quick way to move around the modeler in general. Also, Control G. So that's to quickly go to a new page or any element, really, just Control G and then type what you're looking for. I also really enjoy copy paste. I mean, you can never beat the classics. And if I had to choose one more, Control Shift F is the advanced search. Yeah, so Control Shift F, and that opens up your search where you can look for unused items. You can look for large microflows that need to be reduced or anything like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And whenever I'm in Studio Pro, and yes, I do some modeling every now and then. One of my keyboard shortcuts is definitely Control Enter. Sometimes you get you open 3-4 sub levels of setting windows or settings So to quickly close everything, the default shortcut for like OK or save or close is Control Enter. So I just Control Enter, 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 and it just closes everything right there and then.
Yeah.
And of course, a quick local deploy F5. That's my go-to when I make small changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions coming in? What do you want to know about? Is it about the app that we showed? Is it other functionality? What kind of applications are you working on now? Is there anything that you want to know about that? Or maybe some ideas for topics or things that you want to see in future live builds? Things that you've been waiting for us to cover for 7 months and we still haven't done. Let us know, and we'll take a look at how we can make something either a how-to or a live build to make sure that we explain that properly. So what I'm excited about is testing with Mendix 9 right now. So there's a lot of beta versions coming out, and hopefully soon we'll be able to see a big Mendix 9 release. So keep an eye out for that. And there's some really, really cool new functionality in Mendix 9 that we'll be able to show everyone. If you want to try out the new functionality right now, you can actually go to marketplace.mendix.com and you can download one of the beta versions. Don't upgrade all your projects to Mendix 9 beta just yet because it's unsupported. So if you mess up, make sure you have a backup. But there are some really cool new things that you can try out.
Yeah, I know I'm really excited about the private web apps and the workflow builder. That's some cool stuff.
Yeah. So the progressive web apps, right? Yeah, and
Oh, sorry.
yeah,
Progressive.
yeah.
Private. What am I saying?
Private, progressive. Yeah, and of course, workflow is going to be really big, and I'm really looking forward to that, to be able to demo everyone that.
I
Right.
see we got another question. One last question.
One last question. Are there any widgets for capturing credit card details and capturing transaction and purchase details? So I assume that would be for safety reasons.
Yeah, I think he means like when you're scanning, you can like scan a card sometimes using your phone camera. As far as I know, there's nothing existing in our app store. But I would just look at modifying the camera action, the native mobile camera action, and I would see if I could extend that with some image recognition, possibly from like a GitHub library or something like that.
Yeah, so you mean you'd find some existing functionality that does that and turn it into a Mendix widget? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, either a widget or a JavaScript action, either one would probably open it. But yeah, that's how I would approach it.
Perfect. All right. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Ryan, for the build. We hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, we'll definitely take your feedback into account. So make sure you fill out the feedback form as well when the webinar closes and let us know the more advanced topics that you want to know about. So thanks, Henry. I see one coming in. So that's great. Let us know more about that. And thank you for joining. Go make it and see you next time.
Cheers, guys.